Skylar and Rachel, I'm glad you guys are back for another week of, what book are we in? Do you guys know?
Daniel.
Wow, look at that. 2 weeks and we got it down. Daniel, what chapter was in? Does anyone know what chapter?
2.
Chapter 2. Chapter 2. Good job. So Daniel chapter 2. Rachel, you have your action Bible ready? I remember you said that Daniel chapter 2 is in your action Bible. Skylar, also, I noticed you have 4 ears today. That's exciting. 4 ears.
And a turtle.
And a turtle. Well, that makes sense. Why would you not have a turtle? All right, so let's pray, and then we'll start Daniel chapter 2. Actually, before we pray, can you guys remember what happened? Where did Daniel... Do you guys remember Daniel? Who are his 3 friends? What are their names? You know, Rachel?
Yeah.
What are they?
Azariah.
Correct. 2 more. Do you know one, Skylar?
Michelle.
Michelle? Mishael. It does sound like Michelle, but it's Mishael. There's one
And
more.
Hannah.
Hananiah.
Oh.
You're close. You guys are right, though. So Mishael, Hananiah, and Azariah, and Daniel. Does anyone know their Babylonian names? Shadrach. What else?
Yushak.
Huh?
Yushak.
Shadrach, Meshach, and
Abednego.
And does anyone know Daniel's Babylonian name? It's not in the Bible as much as their names. Belteshazzar. Sound familiar?
Like a belt?
It's like a belt. Belteshazzar. So, Daniel chapter 2, if we remember, we've been going the past couple weeks. Daniel and his 3 friends got captured from Israel, brought into Babylon, and once they're... Rachel, pay attention. What did you notice?
My shirt is mini, and
Yeah.
it has mini ears.
Your shirt and her face. Well, I should say ears. Your shirt and their ears. So, what we noticed last time, Daniel and his friends were taken from Israel and brought to Babylon. And once they're in Babylon, you guys remember, gotta put your turtle away. Well, that's fine. Just don't be distracted by it. Once they were in Babylon, what happened to them? Remember they were offered what kind of food?
King food.
King food. And was it good?
Probably tastes good, but they weren't supposed to eat it.
They weren't supposed to eat it. So they didn't eat it, and for 10 days they ate nothing but what? Vegetables. What happened after 10 days?
They were fat.
It said they were healthier. The word was fatter, but we talked about it in a minute. Healthier. They were healthier, and then they were also really what? It starts with a W.
Wise?
Wise. They're really fat and wise, and where did wisdom come from? God. And so they were wiser than how many people?
All the people.
All the people. They're wiser than everyone, and the king loves them. So now we're in Daniel chapter 2, and we're going to see that their wisdom in this chapter, we're only going to do the first 13 verses, so not yet, but their wisdom will come into play in towards the end of Daniel chapter 2. So let's pray and we'll get started. So Skylar, you said you wanted to pray, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead, Skylar, let's pray.
Jesus, I want to thank you for today, and thank you for class, and I pray that everyone just stays safe and healthy, and thank you for dying on the cross, and we love you so much, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
All right, Daniel chapter 2, starting in verse 1. Now in the 2nd year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, Nebuchadnezzar had dreams, and his spirit was troubled that his sleep left him. You guys ever have a dream that makes you wake up? What's a dream? Rachel, you ever had a scary dream like that?
One where I fall and then I kick myself awake.
Wow, I've had that same exact dream. That's crazy. You ever have a dream like that, Skylar? Yeah? And then you can't, and you're up all night, and then what do you do?
Oh no, I go back to sleep.
You go back to sleep. Wow, that's nice. So in the 2nd year of Nebuchadnezzar, he has a dream so troubled that his sleep left him. Verse 2, the king gave him the command to all the magicians, the astrologers, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans to tell the king his dream, so they stood before the king. And the king said to them, I have had a dream, and my spirit is anxious to know the dream. Do you guys know what anxious means? Worried. Actually, good response. Worried is a really good response. Yeah, worried. It's like you just can't wait. You need to know it really bad. I'm so anxious. You guys ever been anxious for something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and actually, something, Skylar. I noticed you got your Minnie Mouse ears, and of course, Rachel, you have your Minnie Mouse shirt. Does that mean you like to go to Disneyland? Yes. When you're at Disneyland, what do you get anxious for?
To go on the next ride.
To go on the next ride. Correct. Yeah. When you're in line, do you get anxious? Yeah. Super anxious, and you're just like, I can't wait. That's how he felt though. But this was almost more of a troubled feeling. He felt troubled because he's like, I really want to know what this dream means. All right. So verse 3, the king was anxious. Verse 4. So then the Chaldeans spoke to the king in Aramaic. O king, live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we will give the interpretation. Verse 5, the king answered and said to the Chaldeans, my decision is firm. If you do not make known the dream to me and its interpretation, you shall be cut in pieces, and your house shall be made an ash heap. Did you change your Minnie Mouse hat in your glasses?
No.
No? So that was your Minnie Mouse hat, and those are glasses you had on the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you had different ones on. All right. Anyways, so he says to them, you guys tell me the dream, and then if you can tell me what the dream was, I know that you'll know what it means. Then tell me what it means. And he says, Skyler, stop. And he says, if you can tell me what it means, well, actually it says if you can't tell me what it means. So we'll say verse 6. However, if you tell me the dream, verse 5, then the king answered and said to the Chaldeans, my decision is firm. If you do not make known the dream to me as interpretation, you should be cut into pieces. You didn't switch? So those are the hat and glasses you had the whole time. Never changed?
Nope.
Okay, there's no red line on your forehead, Rachel?
That's always been there.
That red line? Okay. I don't feel like I've ever noticed it. Okay, we'll keep going. So the king says, tell me what the dream was, and then I'll know you can tell me what it means. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right, that makes sense, right? And he says what? If you can't tell me the dream, what's going to happen to you in verse 5? Did you guys catch up? What's going to happen if they can't tell you the dream? You'll be
Killed.
killed. How? He says you'll be killed. You'll be cut in pieces. Sounds horrible, right? Yeah, really bad. You'll be cut in pieces. And he says, I'll make your house into an ash heap. What does that mean if he's going to make it into an ash heap? What does that mean? Do you guys know?
It's going to be burned.
Burned to the ground, right? So the king says he's going to burn to the ground. So is that scary if you're one of these soothsayers or magicians? Is that scary for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, super scary, right?
I bet they're anxious.
I bet they are anxious. Verse 6, good use. However, if you tell me the dream and its interpretation, you will receive from me gifts, rewards, and great honor. Therefore, tell me the dream and its interpretation. So the king says, if you don't tell me the dream, well, it's going to happen. You'll be what? Cut to pieces. And what's going to happen to your house?
Burned to the ground.
Burn to the ground. But if you do tell me the dream and what it means, what's going to happen?
Rewards.
Rewards. Like what? What's a reward you guys want?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. What else?
Jewelry.
Jewelry. What about a trip to Disneyland? Do you think the king would give him a trip to Disneyland?
Probably not.
Probably not. There wasn't a Disneyland, huh?
Yeah.
No, but I would love a trip to
And
Disneyland.
then, well, yeah, and I don't know. This isn't in California.
Well, that's true. Babylon is not in California.
I
That's
thought Disneyland has been here forever.
forever. It was actually built in 1955. But that has very little to do with what we're studying, except for maybe it'd be a cool gift, which the king could not have given. So verse 7, they answered and said, let the king tell the servants the dream, and we will give its interpretation. The king answered and said, I know for certain that you would gain time because you see that my decision is firm. Rachel, you didn't switch hats again. You were wearing a motorcycle helmet. Where did you get a motorcycle helmet from?
What helmet?
So those are the hat you had on the entire time. Oh, okay, I'm just going to keep going. They answered, verse 7, they answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will give its interpretation. The king said, verse 8, the king answered and said to them, I know for certain that you would gain time because you see that my decision is firm. Did you just have a motorcycle helmet on?
No, I've been wearing these the whole time.
Okay, we'll just keep going. The servants say to the king, you tell me what the dream is about. Skylar, sit up. Skylar?
I don't want to.
We're trying to get through this, though. Thank you, Skylar. And I'm glad you've been wearing the same ears the entire time.
Yeah.
So the king says, the servants say to the king, tell us the dream and we'll give you the interpretation. What does the king say?
Nice try.
Nice try. Good answer. He's like, no, I'm not going to tell you the dream. Because you're just going to try to buy time if I tell you the dream. Do you think if they could tell the king the right dream that it would prove they really knew what they were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal, right? How would they know? How could you know someone's dream if they didn't tell you to?
If you had the same dream.
If you had the same dream, how would you know you had the same dream?
God told you, I guess.
Good answer. If God told you, do you think God's going to tell these pagan worshipers the dream? No. Could God do that?
Yeah.
Could. Would God do that?
Mm.
Oh. I don't know, maybe he might. God knows beyond us, right? What he's going to do. His decisions are God's, and he makes perfect choices. But here he's not going to do it. God's not going to tell his pagan worshippers a dream. Do you think he's going to tell Daniel a dream?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually he is. We're not going to see that this chapter. Or today. We'll see it in the next finishing chapter. Verse 9. If you do not make known the dream to me, there is only one decree for you. For you have agreed to speak lying and corrupt words before me till the time has changed. Therefore, tell me the dream, and I shall know that you can give me its interpretation. So again, what does the king say? What do they have to do?
Tell the dream.
Tell the dream. Is this fair to the king?
Not really, but
It's fair for him to say, if you can tell me the dream, then I know you know its interpretation. Isn't that fair?
yeah.
Yeah, but what's unfair?
How do they know?
Well, how do they know? You said it. They must know by God. But it's unfair to say, if you don't tell me the dream, I'm going to cut you in pieces. Right?
Oh.
Not very nice. That's not a very nice thing to say. Don't cut people to pieces. The Chaldeans answer the king, you said there's not a man on earth who can tell the king's matter. Therefore, no king, lord, or ruler has ever asked such a thing of any magician, astrologer, or Chaldean. It is a difficult thing that the king requests, and there is no other who can tell it except the gods whose dwelling is not in flesh. So they said, King, no one can tell you this except for who? Who did they say? No one can tell you this except for who?
God.
Did they say God?
I don't think they meant Daniel's God.
Yeah.
But
They actually said gods because they worship pagan gods, right? One of the main gods we talk about with the Babylonians is the god of Baal. So they worship these pagan gods, right? But they were right in one thing. When it says flesh, what does that mean? What do you guys think? People, humans, right? Can people tell someone's dream? Can I know what someone is thinking? That's really what he's asking, right? Know what I thought last night when I was sleeping. Can we know that?
no.
No. Who can know that?
God.
So they were right in the sense that saying humans can't do this. Okay? And no gods. We know there's not multiple gods. There's only one God. We know that for sure. So there's one God, but they were right in saying that it's something supernatural. Only something supernatural could know this. Verse 12. For this reason the king was angry and very furious and gave the command to destroy all the wise men in Babylon. So the decree went out, and they began killing the wise men. And they sought Daniel and his companions to kill him. What do you think Daniel's thinking right now? What's happening to the wise men? The king's doing what? Kill him, because he's mad. He's like, no one can tell me this. I'm going to kill all of you. So if you're Daniel, what are you thinking? Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm scared. I could die. So should Daniel go and hide so he doesn't die?
No.
I would,
But he shouldn't.
He shouldn't.
Yeah. No.
Has anyone we ever studied went and hide so they didn't die?
Yeah.
Who?
David.
Was that wrong?
No.
No. Would it be wrong if Daniel went and hid?
I don't know.
It's confusing, right? How do we know when we're supposed to? Should he have hid? Should he have not hid? Tell you guys what I think.
Yeah.
You just listen to God, right?
Yeah.
You listen to God. Okay. David knew that God called him to go live in the caves for a period of his life, so he did. The king was trying to kill him, just like the king was trying to kill Daniel, and he hid, and God protected him for that time. Elijah ran away from the king and his wife, and he hid, and God took care of him during that time. And here we see Daniel. We're going to see he doesn't hide, and God's going to take care of him during this time. So how do we know? We just seek who?
God.
And where is God?
Heaven.
Where else, though?
In us.
In us. God's in us. He's in heaven and he's in us. And he dwelt on earth as a man. God is everywhere. So is it easy to talk to God?
Yeah.
Because he's in you. You just can just pray to him. When can we pray to God?
All the time.
All the time. So on that, who wants to pray? You want to close, Rachel?
Yes.
All right, let's pray. Go ahead.
Dear Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for all my friends, and thank you for Daniel, and please tell him what to do, and thank you. Amen.